Hi, welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
We are talking about Real Housewives of New York Reunion Part 2 and the final episode.
Yeah. Did you know it was only two?
I did know.
I didn't. I was expecting three, but really there wasn't much to talk about. So
There really wasn't much to talk about. So we start with where we left off with Jessel, her talking to Brynn and telling her how she distorted her words and said that her husband was not the love of her life. And Jenna says to her, an apology is no more fucking words. Like Brynn kept trying to apologize, but she kept talking.
yeah.
And she's like, the spin is really dark and I cannot believe that you did that to her. And Brynn's, crying and saying, I did not know. I'm so sorry. Jenna said you did know. You knew it wasn't her husband and you actually chose to bring it up. And that's really where the issue lies. Yeah, exactly.
Because we never knew anything about that. We never saw that scene.
No.
They did that all off camera. There was no reason to bring that up. Certainly not to lie about it.
Right. I didn't like that. I mean, Brynn is the one who brought it up, but Aaron and Cy were talking about it and they didn't really get their, Jessel said that Cy texted her and apologized, but I felt like they kind of got off scot-free and I don't think that should have happened.
Totally agree with you.
I mean, especially Aaron, because I even remember Aaron saying something like, I can't even see them like having sex. Like you can imagine Abe and I having sex.
Which, no, we can't, Aaron. Nobody wants that.
No, we don't want to imagine that.
No. But yeah, because so you're right. There was no accountability on Aaron's part, and she took it even a step further. What she did was even worse.
Yeah.
Because she co-signed the lie that Brynn said, and then she took it another step.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought
and
so.
said they're not they don't seem like a sexual couple. What a stupid fucking thing to say about a married couple.
I know. I know. 100% agree. So then Brynn said, I want to prove to you that I'm not that person. I want to earn back your friendship. She said I was making a cute joke, and the ladies are like, no, that wasn't a cute joke. And Jessel says, I don't want him to ever question my integrity. Like he gives me free reign. He gives me whatever I want. And I get that,
Yeah, and now she's saying he's questioning her every move.
Right.
Like, that's horrible.
Right. And then we see a conversation between Ubah and Brynn the last night in the Hamptons. And Brynn said, I don't want you to come off as an angry Black woman. Why did you mention that Oliver might not want to be with you if he sees you like this? Ubah says, Oliver lets me be whoever I want to be. And that's why we love Oliver, because Ubah's great.
Yeah, and I feel like the more Brynn tried to explain the angry Black woman warning,
right,
the more epic of a fail it was.
Yeah, she says, I am biracial and I identify as a Black woman. Maybe even if I'm allowed to say certain terms or certain things, it's not appropriate for me to bring those things up. What I said was wrong. So I'm glad she was at least acknowledging that. She also acknowledges she hasn't had the same experience as Ubah, because Ubah says, yes, I haven't had a bad experience as a Black woman. Like, I get everything I want for free. And Andy's like, you get everything you want for free as a Black woman? She's like, well, I'm hot. He's like, oh, okay, so is it, why? And she's like, well, I'm hot. And Raquel's like, no, I think it's more because you're hot, not because you're a Black woman.
Either way, she's getting shit for free.
Exactly. I get upgraded. Guys are holding my bags. And she's like, I've had a bad experience. And Ubah accepts Brynn's apology and they go break for lunch and the ladies are talking and like Brynn goes off by herself. And Aaron said like someone should go check on her. And she's like, maybe Jenna, like you'd be the best one to check on her. And she does. Jenna does go check on her, and Aaron and Ubah are talking, and the fact that Brynn still sees her attacker, Ubah is like taken back by that. She's like, I would not be able to live in New York. Like I wouldn't be able to, I'd have to move. Like and we agreed to that. Like we can't believe that she has to see this person.
It's a lot.
Yeah. And Jenna's talking to Brynn and telling her that she needs to apologize to the ladies and that she needs to say that she's sorry, but she just keeps trying to explain and she needs to stop explaining and just apologize.
Yeah.
Just stop talking. Just say you're sorry.
Right. Right.
Then we get back after the break and Rebecca's there. And then Andy asked Rebecca when it clicked for her that Brynn had a problem with her. And she said that after she heard the Nordstrom's rack comment, that's when it really hit her that she had a problem with her. And Brynn's like, well, you should have went back at me. And then they're like, no, that's when you're overproducing. Like, you don't need to be doing that.
Right. And that's not her style.
Right. That's not her style.
And that's okay.
Right. And
I
then
think Rebecca, I don't think she had an opportunity to share anything else about her life. I think that they were heavy focusing on the Scientology. And I think what she said was perfectly okay. And then they should have left it alone. Judaism is my religion. Scientology helps me handle the day-to-day of my life, my mental health, and great. People can think what they want about Scientology, but she was right. Would you be saying these things to me if I were a Christian? Like, there are some people out there who think all organized religion are cults.
right.
I
But
mean, we can have our opinions about Scientology, but her whole time as a housewife, they heavily focused on that. And I don't think she got a fair shot.
I don't think she got a fair shot, but I don't think she was open to getting a fair shot either, because she contradicted herself many times. When she was in the park with them, she said that, Judaism is my religion and Scientology is how I cope with things. But then Andy straight out asks her at one point.
At the reunion?
At the reunion, he said to her, Andy asked Rebecca, what is her religion? And she says both. Then they cut to her saying Judaism is her religion and Scientology is her belief system, more of a philosophy. Andy asked her if Scientology is a religion, and she said yes, Scientology is a world-recognized religion.
It is a religion. I just felt that she follows Judaism. Like, I got it the first time she said it. I don't think that's necessarily her contradicting herself, though. I think she has the right to follow both.
She absolutely has the right to follow both. But when people are asking her questions and she's not giving them answers, like, for example, when Erin said, what was your problem with me? And she said it was the tone, because she approved that question. Like, what's the difference between Judaism? When she asked her that question, she didn't like her tone.
I don't think she was saying she didn't like her tone then. I think it was the other things Erin was saying. Erin can definitely have a negative tone when she talks. She thinks she's being funny, but she's not funny. She sounds like a real bitch, especially in her confessionals. And I thought she was very negative about the whole Scientology thing. That's why, again, I agree with Rebecca. You can ask me questions and I'm going to answer your questions. But if I sense that you're going to spin this in a negative way, I'm not going to keep answering your questions. And I don't blame her.
Right.
And I thought the whole thing with Erin's dad, her sending her a poem, and Erin like, great, thanks. Like, fuck you, Erin. Like, what did you want her to do?
Yeah, no, I
didn't
agree.
like that at all.
No, I agree with you. That was, she did reach out to her. She sent her a poem.
I don't think you can ever judge someone how they handle their own grief.
Right.
When they lose someone. And I don't think you should ever judge someone for how they handle your grief when you lose someone. Sometimes people just don't know what to do when a friend loses someone. But I felt that her sending her a poem was appropriate and heartfelt.
No, I agree.
Right?
I agree. And like you said, it's hard. Like, it's a difficult situation to begin with.
Yeah.
And just because you didn't find that poem touching, it doesn't mean her intentions weren't pure.
Right.
It's all about intentions.
Exactly.
It's about intentions,
And I got the impression that it was like she was looking for flowers or like something monetary. That's how I took it.
I didn't take it that way.
But I feel like that's who Erin is. Like, send me something. My father died.
See, I didn't take it that way. Also, Andy also asked Rebecca what she thought about a size hot mic moment where she said that she was boring. And she said, well, she initially apologized to me and I accepted her apology. But then when I saw her in her confessional, she doubled down on it. And she did. Listen, the confessionals are really what got the ladies in trouble, because that is really where they talked about the Scientology. And it was basically because they weren't allowed to talk about it anyplace else.
I don't think it's that they weren't allowed to. I think it was very clear in their confessionals how they felt about it. So I think that they probably did talk about it more on the show, but Rebecca probably shut down because the way they were acting in their confessionals is how they were acting towards her. She was probably like, listen, if you're going to make this a joke or make this a negative thing, then I'm not going to move forward with it.
Yeah, I mean, that
That's
could
what
be.
I thought.
That could be. I mean, the other thing was that Aaron had mentioned, and I do think that this was a part of it, is that Rebecca was trying to distance herself from Aaron and the prank, even though the prank, from everything that's been said, was Rebecca's idea.
Yeah.
And I think that she regretted it after it went out there, the way it flopped so much. And she
Yeah.
was trying to distance herself from Aaron and that prank. And I think that that may be where her and Aaron kind of lost ground with everything, you know, with the tone and with what followed afterwards with Scientology questions, because that was early on.
Right.
That was early on. Let's see. Viewers asked the ladies, you all had a lot to say about Scientology in your confessionals. And they cut to the confessionals where they're saying everything. Raquel says, from what I've heard people say, they give a lot of their salary towards it. Sai says she has 0 comments. Don't come for me. I feel like my phones will be tapped. Brynn says she feels like she's talking to a door-to-door salesman who's going to sell me snake oil.
That wasn't nice.
No, it wasn't nice. But then Jessel kind of jumps in and said her and Raquel and Rebecca all had a very nice dinner a few weeks ago, and the topic came up, and they were asking a lot of questions. And Andy said, well, why didn't you ask these questions on camera? And they said, listen, Rebecca was very reluctant, and she didn't feel comfortable. She did feel comfortable with Aaron, but then she didn't like her tone. So I think, seriously, there's a lot of mixed signals. Either she felt comfortable or she didn't feel comfortable. Either they could talk about it or they couldn't talk about it. When they talked about it, when she wasn't there, obviously they're going to say what they really think, and it's going to come across as snarky.
Yeah. Also, in the middle of them filming, we saw on the helicopter that a news article was coming out about it, and that news article was not a positive spin.
Right.
So maybe the news article and the way that was written made her be like, I'm done. I'm not talking about it.
Right. And Brynn was trying to, on the helicopter, engage her and trying to get her to give her side of it.
Yeah.
And Rebecca was saying, like, I don't know how to do this. Like, I don't know how to do this. So Brynn was trying to help her. I do think at that point, Brynn was trying to help her. I don't think she was trying to be this snarky person. And I actually thought that she was friends with Brynn beforehand.
I did too, but they must not have. I think she must have only known Aaron before coming on.
Yeah, because I remember in the beginning when she wasn't drinking, Brynn kept saying, drink, drink.
And she said she did make a comment like she's drank with us before.
Right.
But maybe that's when they knew she was coming on the show and they all went out to have drinks before they started filming just to get to know her.
Right.
But yeah, I had that impression as well.
Rebecca says she felt like it was only brought up as clickbait. And then Brynn brings up that Rebecca doesn't even live in New York. Now, that's the first we heard that.
That is the first we heard that.
I think that's interesting that that's the first time we hear this is on the reunion.
It's interesting, but I mean, like she said, most wealthy people have 2 homes. So they go back and forth. Her business is obviously, runs out of New York. So I'm sure she's there very often, but her home base is Florida.
Is it though? Or maybe her home base is New York and she goes, who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
I think, and we were waiting for Brynn to come up with some great confessional moment. Like we were supposed to learn something new from Brynn. And I think this is what we were learning. The big secret that hadn't come out yet.
I think it was, I didn't think it was going to be on the reunion. I thought we were still going to find something else out, but maybe that was it. I mean, who cares?
Exactly. That's how I feel. Like, who cares? Is this what we were waiting for? Is this the big secret?
Not. Exactly. I really hope that's not what we were waiting for.
Yeah. So then they ask her Andy asks her what her reaction to the word cult is. And Rebecca said it's a bigoted term. It's hate speech. And you wouldn't be asking me this if I were talking Christianity and Judaism. And she's tired of the attacks. And I don't blame her. I totally don't blame her
either. I really don't.
Then a viewer asked, did you really expect to come on a reality show and not talk about it? Rebecca said, I'm happy to talk about it in a safe place where I can have a conversation, an honest conversation. And then she goes on to say, it's not something that I can explain in an hour. Like, and
Right.
Andy's like, well, you had plenty of time to talk about it. Like, you didn't have to, you could have spoke about it on many different occasions. And I just think she didn't feel comfortable. At that
I
point, she didn't
agree.
feel comfortable. At the end, Andy asks, do you have anything else you'd like to say before she leaves? And she said that she wanted to apologize for Aaron for not calling her after her father had passed, and for the prank, and for anyone suffering from infertility that saw that prank in a a sort of way, which I'm glad she did that.
I mean, it's nice that she did that, but that's a stretch. Nobody who was suffering with, problems with fertility is going to be offended by a fake rumor about her being pregnant by somebody other than her husband. Like, to me, that was a big stretch.
It was mentioned though, so she wanted to just cover her bases,
Yeah.
apologize for it, and move on. Move on. And as we know, she resigned the next day. She said she
Oh,
wouldn't
yeah.
be coming back. So, you know,
We knew that was happening.
yeah. And then Rebecca walks off stage, and it was odd because they really didn't even say goodbye to her. And Sai's like, that was awkward. It was awkward.
It was
It was
way
really
awkward.
awkward. It
Yeah.
was. I mean, I didn't get to go over Salt Lake with you, but it was almost as awkward as when Brittany came out and she wanted to be announced and walked out. Like, and she wanted to be out there at the end when they were toasting. I'm like, no, that's awkward.
She's so thirsty, Brittany.
I know.
I really hope she's not back.
I think she's going to be back. I do.
You really do?
I do. I mean, we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
So then we come back after the break and we start with the trip to Puerto Rico. Eddie wants to start at the beginning of the trip. Raquel says she didn't realize that Ubah wouldn't fit on the bed until she actually saw it. But her saying that the water was disgusting and not she still was offended by that. And I think that, she had a right to be.
And Ubah wasn't.
She wasn't
that's one thing about Ubah. She won't admit she's wrong. Well, I shouldn't say she won't, but she's not admitting she was wrong in this situation. And I think everybody can agree she was wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, no, she wasn't backing down on that.
Right.
Raquel's like, you just had to walk through the water. Everyone else walked through the water. And Ubah's like, well, I was worried about Sai because of her foot. And she's like, well, Sai walked through the water. I mean, probably she shouldn't have walked through the water.
She probably should not have. Condom or not, she should.
Exactly.
I would have been a little concerned about Sai too, but I would have walked through the water.
Yeah, I probably would have walked through the water too.
Yeah.
I mean, you're at the beach.
Right.
You're at the beach.
Right.
And we just saw in Beverly Hills, there's dead birds on the beach there too.
That's right. That's right.
It happens everywhere. And then he brings up how Jenna ended up talking about a certain situation down there. Like, how did that come about? And she said that she had told that to Sai in confidence on the plane. And she didn't expect it to become. But, she's such a good sport about that kind of stuff.
She really is.
I mean, she lets them run with it.
Mortified.
I know, but she's so good about it. She just lets them run with it. I give her a lot of credit. Honestly, I think she's a class act when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ubah apologized for losing her shit. Andy asked if she realized that the women were afraid to talk to you. And she apologized for losing her shit, but then she really wasn't going any further. And she just kept saying, okay, just be afraid of me. All right, continue to be afraid of me.
Yeah.
Like she wasn't owning what they were trying to tell her.
No, not at all.
Why they were afraid to,
Like they're not afraid of her. They're afraid of her reaction. They're not afraid. They're just,
right.
They'd rather avoid her reaction to things.
Exactly.
Yeah. She was not getting it though at all.
And at Ubah, at one point, Raquel was trying to explain to Ubah, and Ubah says to Raquel, I wish I tell you I care, but I don't. I was like,
yeah, like that's insulting.
It is insulting.
Basically, you're saying that how she feels doesn't matter. You don't care. You have no interest.
Yeah, I know. I do like Ubah, but I do think she's very cold and cut with her words.
And stubborn.
And very stubborn. And
yeah.
hot. I mean, listen, they don't call her Ubah hot. I mean, I know she had a hot sauce, but she really is Ubah hot.
Ubah hot. She is Ubah hot.
And then Andy brings up, again, the conversation by the pool and that Aaron, not telling Jessel the true story about what she had to do in that conversation. And even then, she's kind of hesitant to apologize, but she does finally. She said, yeah, she said I was sitting there, and then Sai said, you were a part of it. And she said, yeah, okay, I was a part of it. But she really was still reluctant to own her part in it.
It's ridiculous.
And then Ubah's like jumping in on that bandwagon. Like she's annoyed with Aaron about it too. Like Like, why did you go there with Brynn? She's saying to Aaron, I'm like, wait a second. You're not owning your shit. And now you're giving Aaron shit for not owning her shit. But you didn't own your shit either.
Right.
So it's like.
It's a do as I say, not as I do situation.
Yeah. Then what happens?
Ubah apologized for her authenticity. I'm sorry for my authenticity.
Yes. That's
Great
Ubah.
apology.
Yes. Then Andy brings up the accusation that was made about Ubah. Can you clarify for us when you told Ubah about the sexual assaults? And Andy said, there's no one here that doubts that happened to you. And Brynn says, yeah, it was a week before BravoCon. She'd just gotten a phone call from a family member that had purchased a gun and didn't know if that person was dead or not. I called Ubah. I was talking to her on the phone. She said, I'll get you a car. Do you want me to? And then I started screaming, why is this happening to me? This is my fucking childhood, dude. Dude beat me up in college. I was raped. I was literally word vomiting. Why is this my life? And, maybe she didn't catch it. I'll say that. Maybe she didn't hear, give her the benefit of the doubt. And the ladies are like, no. And then she's going on to say that Ubah was, running after me. And then that's when Ubah loses it. I saw what you texted her, that I was violent towards you.
Everything Brynn said about that night was completely different than everyone else's story.
Right. And we were, for a big part of it, relying on their stories because it wasn't actually on camera.
Right.
I mean, running in the hallway was on camera, and she wasn't running. She was just walking.
Yeah.
And she was yelling, but she wasn't, attacking her physically. She was yelling.
She was getting close to her to get in her face, but that's because Brynn kept running away. Like,
yes.
Yes.
I
mean, aggressive a little, but violent, no.
No. And then Jenna says, you told us she might not have clocked it, and that felt reckless. And then, Brynn's crying, and she's like, well, why wasn't the reaction, you ladies, to come comfort me? And like, why when I say something, you assume that like I know it? And Andy asks Ubah, does she remember the call before BravoCon? And Ubah's like, yeah, I remember it. And you never told me. And
I feel like that would have been a word that would
stopped her.
And you would be like, whoa.
Right.
Back up.
Right. Or even if you didn't in that moment, because she was a lunatic, it would have been a conversation later. And this is the thing. I don't know if you realize this, but in the beginning of the season, when she started doing this book and she was talking to the ghostwriter or her editor, I'm not sure what it was. But anyway, when she's talking to that person about the situation, she had already met with her brother in the park and they were sitting on the bench. And she told her brother that she had not told anybody, that he was the only one who knew this story.
Yes.
So
I do remember that.
When was the lie? Was it then when she told her brother that? Or was it when she said she told Ubah? Like, which is more likely?
For sure.
When she told Ubah.
Yeah. I don't think she ever said it to Ubah. That's something she would have remembered.
Right.
And addressed, like you said, either then or at a later time.
Right. And I don't know why they didn't bring that up, to be honest with you. Like, why
at the reunion.
Why didn't they bring that up? Maybe
like, why didn't somebody say, you sat on a bench and said to your brother, you're the only one I've told.
Right. And now you expect us to believe that you told Ubah. And BravoCon would have been before that scene was filmed, because that scene was this season.
Exactly.
And BravoCon was before the season.
Yep.
So,
something's off.
Something's
definitely off with her.
Yeah. Sai says to her, don't you see that this is not okay? And that's when Brynn says, this is when she kind of like cowers down. She's like, this is getting to be too much. And then Ubah says, I forgive you. And we will never go back. I want to go back to when I didn't know who the fuck you were. And listen, those were harsh words, but that's what she felt at the time. That's what she felt. And I'm glad that she got that out. But Ubah said, Brynn said, no one reached out to me. And then Aaron is like, I reached out to you until you blocked me. Jenna's like, I reached out to you. Yeah, I reached out to you. And then
it's just like her saying in the beginning that Aaron and Sai made the first 5 weeks of filming miserable for her. Like, it's it's a victim mentality. And this has nothing to do with her essay. Obviously, she was a victim in that scenario. I just mean, in this group of girls. She plays the victim, but yet she's the mean girl stirring up all the problems.
That's exactly what happens.
Like, she really needs to go talk to somebody. She really needs a counselor, a therapist.
I mean, I think she has a counselor. I think maybe she needs another one.
Yeah, because that's not good behavior. That's not adult behavior.
Yeah, I agree.
Not good adult behavior. Let's
right. No,
there are some adults who act that way. I know a few, but
Andy asked Erin, her intentions were hoping that they would get some resolution. And she said, that she was hoping that maybe that acknowledging that Ubah didn't know and apologizing to Ubah. And Brynn said she acknowledged, that Ubah didn't know. And then Ubah got up and went over there and hugged her and said, I forgive you. I forgive you. And then Brynn said, listen, I knew Ubah would kill for me. Like, that's why I called her. I knew Ubah. And Ubah said that. She's like, I know. Don't you tell me where he is because I will wind up in jail. Don't let me know who this person is because he will not be here anymore. Then Andy calls for a break, and Ubah and Brynn are still out there on the couch and they're still talking. And I really thought Ubah was being so kind.
I did too.
I really did. And the other ladies were like, I can't believe, Ubah's doing that. And I'll be honest with you, after we watched the reunion, when it ended, I really thought that they were going to move forward. I did. I didn't think that it was that fractured because, listen, Ubah said it's going to take time. I get that it's going to take time.
Yeah.
But no, according to them, they haven't talked to each other since the taping. And now that's got to have been at least a month or two at this point.
Yeah, but why would they talk to each other? You know what I mean? Like, it's not like they're going to they're not filming. They're not going to get together and go anywhere.
I mean, they're not filming, but why not? Why not reach out? Why not go have a cup of coffee and meet up and try and move forward?
I don't think
if you really
going to be cool like that yet.
So I'm not saying Ubah's going to be cool, but why not the rest of them?
The rest of them, yes. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Ubah and Brynn specifically.
Oh, no, I'm talking about any of them. None of them have talked to her.
It's been a month or so. I mean, I
don't know.
Let it settle, I guess.
I mean, even Raquel, then Raquel went, because then they did go in the back and Raquel was hugging her and, she was acknowledging, that her heart was, broken for her and that she felt it. And, Brynn said to her, I feel like you feel it, like implying that she had also been SA'd. And, that it hit you close to home. And Raquel said yes. And then they walked back on stage, like holding hands and laughing, those two. And then those two don't talk again. Like, I just feel
how do you know that Brynn hasn't talked to anybody? Did she say it?
Well, no, they've said it.
Well, that's right. When they were on Watch What Happens Live.
Yeah. Yeah, they said it. When
Jenna was on and Jessel and Raquel were in the audience. And they all
said it. And then they gave that gift to Bozma and Brynn's name wasn't on it. The birthday gift. Yeah, everyone's name was on it.
I didn't catch that.
Yep, everyone's name, but Brynn's name wasn't on it. And then there was something else that was mentioned, and they have not talked to Brynn. None of them.
I wonder if she's not coming back.
Well, they've said that we don't know who's coming back. Like, nobody's gotten a contract yet. No one knows when season 16's starting or what's going on. We saw that they put out the casting call. I don't know if you saw this, but they asked Lindsay Hubbard if she would like to be on The Real Housewives of New York. And her response was, well, really, it's not my decision. She's like, I don't know if going back to Summer House, because her and her baby daddy are broken up. They just recently broke up. Did you see that?
I did see that. Why would they ask Lindsay to go on Housewives?
Because she's a New York girl.
She's
more their age. Well,
it's so annoying. Like, can we get people with families and kids?
Brynn's not a housewife.
I know.
Ubah's not a housewife.
I know. But at least, I don't know. It's kind of, I don't know. I'm just not a Lindsay fan, so.
I know you're not.
I'm not really here for that, but whatever. Amanda, I can't stand fucking Kyle, but I'd like to see Amanda on there.
Speaking of that, boy, Paige is getting a lot of crap.
We got to talk about that when we're done here. Let's talk about that. Because did you see Craig on Watch What Happens Live this week?
Oh, yes, I did. All right, let's finish this one up.
I'm Team Craig all the way, by the way.
Okay. All right,
Yeah, let's talk
so
about that.
they go back out. I told you Raquel and Brynn are holding hands. And then Andy says, like, is there anything, we want to say, like, to wrap this up? And Sai says she wants to, she talked a lot about Erin and that she's sorry and that, she really had her back this season. So Sai apologizes to Erin, and Ubah says the same thing to Erin. She also apologized. And Jenna said through a lot of therapy, she's learned that you can be upset and sad with somebody and still love them. And she's, talking about Brynn. We all care about you deeply. Two things can be true. Brynn said, I am horribly sorry for multiple things, but especially with Jessel. So I'm going to fix that. I'm sorry to Ubah. The one thing I wanted the most in the last several months was just a hug from Ubah, which she did get. I want to be better friends to you guys. So Brynn hugs Sai and says, I miss you. And she's like, we are funny together. Sai says to her, now this is after it wraps. We need to work on some things.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how it ended.
That was a good response from Sai, though.
Yeah, but I want them to actually try and work on the things because I honestly don't want them to write off Brynn. I think I'd like to see Brynn come back with a redemption season. I'd like to see Brynn come back humble. I'd like to see, listen, I know that's a lot. It's a lot.
I know. Well, that's the thing. Is that what we're going to get? I think Sai meant like we can't base our friendship on talking shit about our friends because that's basically what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it was. They were, yeah. So we'll have to see what happens with New York. I think it's very much so up in the air. We have no idea who's coming back. We only know that Rebecca's not. And that's pretty much all we know.
Rebecca, run.
Yeah, run. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, let's talk about Paige and Craig on Summer House.
So I thought Craig's response to Andy when Andy said, I don't know what he asked Craig, but Craig was like, it's not my business. It's not. And he's like, of course it's your business. And Craig's like, no, it's not. I'm the ex-boyfriend I got broken up with. It's not my job to now go defend her. First of all, nobody ever said she cheated on him. You know that, right? She's the one who went on her podcast and put that, whatever disclaimer out. Like, I'm going to address this now, whatever she said. But she's the one that said somebody said she cheated. Austin never said that. All Austin said was, I believe Craig has come to terms with the fact that she's with somebody now. Nobody ever mentioned cheating. So I agree with Craig. He said, why is it my responsibility to defend her for something? I didn't say it. I'm not saying it.
Right.
I'm going on all social media outlets to defend her. That's asinine.
Not my job. Right.
Exactly.
That's not my job. No, I agree with him.
And I haven't seen her castmates come out and say things about him, but I'm sure they have.
Amanda came out. The question he was asked was about Amanda. Amanda came out and said, why isn't he defending her? Why isn't he saying that there was no cheating? It was Amanda that came out with that.
Yeah, no, go away, Amanda, because that's not his.
No, it's not his job. And she even said, they were together for 3 years. You think he'd have her back. Well, I get it. He's upset. He's sad. He didn't want the breakup. He was blindsided. That being said, I personally think he was blindsided, but she was always telling him what her expectation was. Because I'm watching her this season, even on Southern Charm, when she's saying, if you say to me today, like, we have to get married and have kids tomorrow, I'm saying goodbye to you because that's not where I'm at.
I agree with you. She was very upfront about that. However, she must have been saying other things to him too, to make him think that ultimately she was going to settle down with him.
Well, we're going to have to see because I understand that Southern Charm cameras pick back up after the breakup. And that's where we see what's coming up in the attractions about. She said she wanted me to buy her a ring. She told me to plan a vacation. So that must have happened that we don't know about. So let's see that. And, I'm open to it. But I do think that prior to hearing those two things, that everything I've seen from her, she's been pretty upfront and, forward with him that I'm not ready to do this yet. I don't want to move to South Carolina. But he says to Andy, I was planning on moving to New York, and Andy knew that to be true.
And everyone on his cast knew that to be true. Everyone, I've seen Austin say it. I've seen Shep say it. I've seen Leva say it.
Right.
Craig's going to move to New York.
Right.
So, I don't know, man. I'm Team Craig.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll.
And I like Paige. I'm not saying I don't like Paige. I'm just saying she fucked around and found out, I think, now. because she said too much on her podcast. She should have done what he did. She should have kept her mouth shut, especially if she's the one that initiated it. This is the problem, though. This is the problem with Bravo. This is the problem with social media. Nobody can keep their damn mouths shut.
Well, that is a problem. But I mean, she has a platform. She has a podcast. So he has a podcast too. He could have talked about it
on her podcast and been like, "Listen, it was time."
Right. Made this. Yeah.
Yeah. She didn't. I mean, his thing was she said it was mutual. It was not mutual.
Right.
And I'm sure she said it was mutual out of respect for him. So 100%. It didn't look like he got dumped.
Right.
But the cheating thing, she took that and ran. And to me, that makes her look guilty.
Well, I don't think she took it and ran so much as her friends were jumping on it. Like, I don't think I think that, that was Amanda that made that comment.
But Paige said on her podcast, I have never physically cheated on Craig. I have never meant to, emotionally cheated on Craig. So she addressed it. She should never have addressed it.
The thing is, though, people were, before even Austin was on, people were saying that because they saw her out with guys. So they were saying that she cheated before Austin was on Watch What Happens Live.
But I don't think anybody said she cheated. All they said was she was with someone now.
No, people were implying that she had cheated because it was so soon after they broke up and they didn't realize that they had been broken up for a month.
But Craig never addressed a cheating rumor. Craig addressed the rumor that she was dating someone now, soon after she and Craig broke up.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought everything Craig said was perfect. Like, he was like, love is enough.
Yeah.
You make it work. And it's not that she doesn't want those things. She doesn't want those things with me.
I think that she just wasn't ready. I think she wasn't ready, And
honestly, after 3 years, if you're not ready, then it's probably not meant to be with him.
Right. Right.
He is a decent amount older than her.
He's not that much older than her.
Well, it's got to be 10 years. He's 40, isn't he?
No.
Oh, I thought it was like a 10-year age difference.
No, it's not. It's not that much. It's not that big of a difference.
Because he's obviously ready. Well, according to Austin, he's always ready. He's always been ready to settle down.
So Paige is 30.
3 years older than her?
Yeah, Paige is 32.
I thought she was 30 and he was nearing 40.
No, she's 32. No, it's not a huge age difference. And you know what?
I really thought it was a lot more than that.
No, it's not. It's not a big age difference.
Because they look it either.
Because he's such a man-child. And like you said,
but that's the thing. Like,
he's not now.
Not anymore. Yeah.
He's not now, but she's the one who got him there. And maybe she's like, listen, I don't want to have to do this. Like, maybe at 32 years old, like, I want to have a family, and I want to have a family with someone who's already established and like is ready, not because I just got them to be ready. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. But I got the impression from Austin, like, Craig was ready to settle down with Naomi, but he really wasn't.
Naomi. Who was Naomi?
You didn't watch Southern Charm from the beginning.
No.
Naomi was his long-term girlfriend on earlier seasons.
Okay. No, see, I just started watching Southern Charm last year. So
yeah.
We can talk about that quickly because I don't even know how long we've been doing this. I can't see. What'd you think about Whitney? He was totally trashed, right?
And listen, it's great. I mean, no judgment on you being trashed, but the things he was saying.
I know, so obnoxious.
He should not drink. If that's how you get when you drink, you should not drink. If you start insulting your friends, he was really being mean.
He was.
And Shep just took it.
I know. This is what I wanted to ask you because, like I said, this is only my second year watching it. Was he like this before?
I've never seen him like that on camera before.
Okay.
But, Whitney started this show. You know that, right?
Him and his mother, right?
He's the executive producer. He's, obviously got more money than they'll ever know what to do with.
Right.
And he's into all this filmmaking. He's always at film festivals. This was his baby. He started this. So, yes, he's on it, but he's more behind the scenes. Like, he's never at a reunion.
Right.
So Whitney's not going anywhere. This is his show. He could do whatever the F he wants, but I've never seen him. I'm sure I've seen him inebriated before, but I've never seen him this season 2 times. they got him on camera. The one time was saying to Molly that was the last thing she needed was to eat a cupcake.
Well, that was another horrible scene.
Yeah. And then this with Shep. But, he's part of the editing and he's part of all of that. So the problem with this scene, they couldn't cut it out because it was all of them together. It was Patricia's dinner.
Right.
It was key to what was going on. It's key to the storyline right now with Shep and his girlfriend.
Yeah.
So they couldn't edit it out. Who knows how many times he's been inebriated and said inappropriate things, and they probably edited it out. You could tell Patricia could not get out of that room fast enough. She was trying to get him to go to sleep so she could stay and entertain, but that wasn't happening. So she made the right move, Patricia.
Yeah, she certainly did. Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Is Shep still with his girlfriend? No, right?
I can't imagine. I mean, how could he be?
Yeah. She was an
using him.
opportunist.
Yeah, she was using him.
Would they say her grandmother was like the president of the Southern Charm fan club? I don't know if it's true, but it's pretty funny that Madison said that.
That's so funny. I love Madison. She's actually my favorite. She really is my favorite.
She's come around again. In earlier
that.
seasons, they made her look like a villain, but she's come around. She's definitely one of my favorites too.
And then JT and Vanita, I mean, that's craziness.
He just cannot do anything right, JT. It was a good move, him exiting the show.
Yeah. I guess it's happening soon, right? Because we haven't seen him exit yet.
Yeah, no, we haven't. And I think he's in the coming attractions.
And then he makes it to the reunion, so...
He does? He was at the reunion?
Yeah, they just filmed the reunion the same day that they did Watch What Happens Live.
Craig was on Watch What Happens Live. Yes, I knew that, but I did not hear them say that JT was there.
Yeah, okay. I have the reunion seating chart, but you know who wasn't there is Ryan. Ryan's not there.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess he was just a friend of? I have no idea.
Maybe. I really hope they don't bring Taylor back. And honestly, they shouldn't bring Taylor back. She didn't show us anything about her lives.
No, that's so complicated. Her and Gaston.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm hoping I like that Sally. I like that girl, Sally.
I like Sally too.
I'd rather see her on it than Taylor.
I agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
I'm not a fan of Taylor. And I know Shep did her dirty. I feel bad about that. But she doesn't bring anything. And Shep's not going anywhere.
No. And what about Thomas Ravenel is running for governor? What was it?
I did not see that. That's a joke, right?
No, didn't Cousin Gina send us that?
Maybe.
Wait a second. Let me check.
I can't keep up with on the week, when I'm at the salon, I can't look.
I know. Let's
then I forget by the time I get home.
Listen, I get it. Here we go. Thomas Ravenel, governor
of South Carolina. Who the hell would vote for him?
Mm-hmm.
What is going on?
Yep. Governor of South Carolina. He's running in 2026.
Who
Thomas
would vote
Ravenel.
For him?
I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Somebody would vote for him. Somebody will vote for him. Oh my goodness.
Listen, our president is a reality star. So anything is possible.
Very true.
Right?
I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't realize, but everybody's telling me Trump's going to the Super Bowl, which I could care less. But I went to ShopRite today, as I do every Sunday morning.
Yes.
And normally I am thrilled by the playlist in there, 70s and 80s music from my childhood, and I'm jamming out as I'm food shopping. Guess what they were playing today?
What were they playing?
Taylor Swift.
Oh, no.
I have never once in my life. It's Super Bowl Sunday, by the way, everybody. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Big Game Sunday.
Wait. Why we don't call it Super Bowl?
No, you can't say it. Remember that Jersey Shore episode where they couldn't say it?
Well, we can say it.
We can?
Why can't we? You think the Super Bowl is going to come after us?
I really hope not. I got nothing. But by the way, NFL, if you're paying attention, you fucking robbed my team, the Bills.
Show them your team. What do you got on there?
I got my shirt on.
She's still wearing a Bills shirt.
Out of principle today, I wore it on purpose.
Okay.
And I took my jacket off and walked around ShopRite wearing it. I couldn't believe so I go to the cashier. I said, "You poor thing. You got to listen to Taylor Swift all day today." She just laughed. She said? She probably didn't know what I was referring to.
She's like, "Oh, another crazy lady."
She's like, "Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I just want to get the fuck out of here." Oh my God. So is Bill cooking today?
Yes, we have wings and nachos, and I don't even know what else he's got going on. Oh, soup. He's making another pot of soup.
Yeah. So, Eric, I'm making a pulled barbecue chicken in the crock pot. And we got guacamole and cornbread and stuff like that. And we're going to do loaded tots. And Eric made bean soup today. I'm like, okay.
That's an odd mixture with that.
Sure, it's.
Okay.
But if he wants to cook, I'm here for
There
it.
you go. There you go.
Because we'll have all enough leftovers for days.
There you go. Perfect.
Yep.
Okay. Well, until next time, I would say please give us some 5-star reviews. And if you're listening to this episode on Tuesday, on Wednesday, we will be dropping Salt Lake City. And then on Thursday, we're redropping an episode we did of Wendy Williams a while back. I think we did it last March. So take a listen to those.
It was a while ago, yeah.
Yeah. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.